general feedback and feed forward on assignment number 1, selecting and aligning evaluation methods. I want to say congratulations to everyone. I think you have done an amazing job on the assignment, taking the time out to create, share, select, use good learning outcomes, learning objectives, selecting the right level of Bloom's taxonomy to these learning outcomes, learning objectives, and using the right teaching technique at that point, looking at your assessment or evaluation method. And of course, we know that we can do assessment at any point of the lesson, and we can do evaluation at any point of the lesson, though we always consider using evaluation at the end because we want to get somewhat of a grade, a numerical measurement, a standard, so we can give feedback. And for me, one of the most important part of this assignment is deciding on the rationale. Why is it that you choose all of this? And that's, for me, I like to say, is a method to the madness. And there's a method to the madness when we do what we do when it comes to our selection of objectives for our teaching. And so for me, I want to take some time out today just to give you a quick feedback, feed forward mostly, as you move into continue creating great lesson plans, great course outlines, selecting excellent assessment and evaluation methods. So the first one I want to look at is the learning objective. And writing the learning objective in the ABCD method is not mandatory, but it actually is a good practice to think about the components of a good learning outcome, and to think about it in when to make sure that you are covering the audience and you're ensuring that you understand the behavior. What is it that the learner should really be able to do, and under what condition, and to what degree? And for me, it's very important. You can see there's a tutorial online for this. I'm not going to go over it, but I just wanted to make sure we underline and we understand why is it that we are doing this. So we have to ensure that when we write our learning outcomes, even if you are not doing it in the ABCD method, but ensure that these outcomes are very direct, they are clear. Sometimes we believe if we use the right verb, sometimes we believe, if I use the right verb, to point out my objective, then or my outcome, then it's at a level of the taxonomy that it's supposed to be at. But that's actually not true. The right verb is good, but you need to ask yourself, what is the right verb at this point? So if you say be able to recall or recite, reciting 2 words or repeating a line is a different level of expectation from reciting an entire 5 stanza poem, or reciting Shakespeare with diction and certain things. So when you say recite, not because you use the word recite or recall, means it's something. Recalling 5 words is different from recalling 5 steps. You see what I'm saying? So I want you to understand, not because you have a right verb means you have accomplished and easily placed a learning outcome at the right level of Bloom's taxonomy. And so I wanted to think about that. Learning outcome must be an action, right? So your learning outcome, right? I type LO, but of course you know what I mean. Your learning outcome here, must be an action and an outcome. It's an outcome, right? It's an outcome. It's something measurable. Think about it. It's measurable. So I want you to go back into your assignment. I take one example here to look at, because we had 4 examples of learning outcomes in this one right in front of us. And I want, where's the action in each? And this one, this person needs to explain to the facilitator. This one here, the person is asked to verbally define 2 of the products. This person here is being asked to reiterate the definition of ocean pollution. This one is being asked to verbally identify 2 different campaigns. So you need to ask yourself when you're writing your outcomes, very good job here, is to say, do I know? Is it clear to the learner what I am asking that person to do? Is the action clear to the learner? And next thing I want to point out is your teaching techniques. I found that some of you were really, really impressive in this area, but some of us, we were lacking. We were lacking in that area. And so I've uploaded also on the course page this beautiful illustration or diagram, so to speak, of the different ways for you to engage a class. And some of us we have become the persons who have made those lectures boring. We have made those student interaction lackluster and lack energy because we have not gone into real ideas of how to stimulate and to engage. And so, I notice some of you, everything is a PowerPoint, PowerPoint, PowerPoint. PowerPoints are great, and I use PowerPoint a lot, but I do also use other techniques with my PowerPoint. So if you see my PowerPoint, you'll also see a group activity. You may see a panel. You may see an invited guest speaker. I love a guest speaker. You may see a good movie. You may see a recording. An handout is still good. You may see a closed procedure, CLOZE. Take note of that. It's not CLOSE, CLOZE, a closed procedure. Think about a field trip. And sometimes we have a field trip is not always outside the building. A guest speaker is not always someone from outside. Another lecturer, another professor, another facilitator is a great guest speaker because sometimes what your student need is another voice than yours. Sometimes we like our voice, we're good with it, but the students sometimes need another voice than ours. Role play. I am a very big person of case study and dramatization. So get into it. Be open. Debates are amazing. Get into it. Get into it, right? Get into being creative with your delivery. And I wanted to just point out quickly that the lecture is not dead. The lecture is not dead. I want to say that the lecture is not dead. Some of us, we think, oh, let me move away from the lecture. And some of us, we have been taught to move away from the lecture so much. Because you know what? Because when you lecture, some of you stand behind the lectern and you don't move. And literally, whatever you are saying is exactly what is in the textbook or what is on the PowerPoint. That's not a good lecture. A good lecture is engaging, and you can do so many things with a good lecture. So don't ever be afraid to go back to your good lectures because they are excellent lectures when your students walk away being challenged, and that is when you know you have done a good lecture. So your assessment choices, some of you made very bold assessment choices. I was very happy to see some of these assessment choices, very bold assessment choices, very bold teaching techniques, and I was very happy to see people are actually pushing that, doing well, coming out with the choices you have made for your assessment. Multiple choice. Don't feel like you're supposed to be scared of a multiple choice. It's fine, but you can also take those multiple choice ideas to a next level. It's to take it to a next level. And what I loved most of all was that most of us, we were very clear on our rationale. We were very clear on the method to the madness. We were very clear on why we were using certain techniques and why we were using certain evaluation or assessment methods. And my final thing I want to do is leave with you certain reminders. Sometimes, I know we have to keep reminding. People have come into courses like this from different levels, different background, different places, different spaces. And so it's important for us to, maybe for me to share the reminders. So a few things, some of it might seem very mundane, but people have missed the mark on these things. When you submit a page, I submit an assignment, there's always a cover page unless it's not asked for. If your professor didn't specifically say place a cover page, place a cover page, please. It's always good to do that. Your reference list is supposed to be there. Anything you have used that is not yours, please ensure you reference and it's placed in a reference list. All these are guided by APA 6th edition standard. Formatting is important also. Your formatting is very, very important. Your headings. Headings are also guided by APA 6th edition. They are first level, second level, third level, fourth level, fifth level headings, and there are ways to do that. Some of you are using a running head. You need to ensure that you do the running head the proper way, that it must be done. The margins are supposed to be the proper way, and the font size and the double line space. We present our work in double line space unless otherwise requested. Our margins are standard, and our font size, they are always 12 unless they are otherwise requested. So ensure that you use these strategies and these methods and these reminders to always get you to where you need to be. So thank you again for a wonderful assignment. I see that people are doing a great job. You are engaging. I want you to not to complain, but to engage. I see persons, having little ideas there. I missed this, I missed that. Take that adult responsibility as an adult learner and make sure you get done what needs to be done. Have yourselves a wonderful day.